introduce myself. My name is Osama Samurai. I work at the School of Design. I'm academy lead for the XR Research Group and the XR. And today we are having our guest, Paul Nickeas from Digital Heads Up Digital, and he is also the lead for research in Tesla Suite. If you haven't heard of it, it's the multi-sensory company that invests in the full body sensation software. So part of the work we do in XLab is around designing and developing tactile and kinesthetic sorts of feedback that would stimulate people's sense of touch, feeling in the immersive world. This includes VR, AR, and MR. And this is where Paul and I met one time around the project. How do we bring expertise from industries and academy into one place where we could learn from each other and we could possibly integrate our expertise in one place? And Paul is very, very motivated in terms of how his technological skills from a development part of things could be also brought into different disciplines: arts, medicine, psychology, transportation. And this is why we are hosting this event today, is to let you know what Paul is doing, what people he's working with, and possibly open up pathways for collaboration. If you are having an idea, a project that you are lacking the technical part of it, or connection to people from the industry. So Paul may be the right person here. So it's really is Nathaniel to get you connected more or less, yeah. And I think I talked too much, so I will leave to you, Paul, just to introduce yourself while I get to you. Yeah.
Hello everyone, sorry about the delay. It takes me to make keynotes at like 2.8 gigabytes, and obviously the Mac-friendly conference suites don't exist. Give you a bit of background. For about 5 years, I've worked in the great technology space. Before that, I've always worked in kind of events. Before that, I was the lead for a company called Read Media, and we ran events which were content events in Cannes, MTV and Netcom, where basically anybody could or watch anything on Netflix. That content is sold like by TV, BBC, and so on. And in the final year, I was there for 3.5 years as the UK head of operations. I saw this move into how brands saw branded content, how they were moving into more kind of, more experimental VR. And for the final kind of MTV, I thought, wouldn't it be great then to look at all the VR companies that have been amazing things that from the critical rewind that did Ghost in the Shell, the most incredible VR experience around the film, to Prada film shows, fashion shows, to just the most incredible storytelling through immersive technology that made sense. From that point on, I decided to the leap of faith and set up Heads Up Digital, which was around how can I bring all of the innovation, all of the technology, create these really interesting, creative use cases, and have fun doing it. So the first thing that I was asked to do was work at Formula One, and Formula One have a haptic area, which is where all the big VIPs go through, and all the teams, sponsors, and so on. And at the time, I was doing to CES, and I'd seen that there was a suit that you can translate data through, you can capture motion, biometrics, and like it was ready playing on all over the shop. So I spoke to them, and then I spoke to Formula One again, and I said, if I could get data, driver data, maybe I could create something that would be unique motorsport. So essentially what we did, we took Lewis Hamilton's telemetry data from 2019 Spanish Grand Prix, pulled that, which was still an unbroken record to this day. And because of the sensor data, all the sensor data included telemetry, so you had acceleration, deceleration, inertia, banking, DRS. I used the machine learning algorithm from that to map it into the Tesla suit. If you haven't seen the Tesla suit, into this month we have one. It has 95% of the body is covered with haptics. You can't put any more because that's your brain, you can't put any electrical current through your brain, as you can imagine. So what we did, we mapped this, and if you can imagine sitting in a seat, wearing a full body suit, which has got direct skin, electromuscular, haptic, you could actually feel the reflex of the car driving, acceleration, de-acceleration, by the way we apply the different haptic forces and what to the stomach, the back, and as a result of that, that allowed us then to really open up a whole range of different applications of, well, what else can we use the SIG for? So we started an academic program, and today, including Leeds, we've got 92 universities all trying to understand what is the future of immersion. What does it look like? What is the future of how all of this wonderful technology can be brought together and be used in a meaningful way and not just be stacked in the corner, which I've seen with General Motors, very big corporations, Boeing, and they've got a treasure trove of the most amazing technology, but no one's used it. But they bought it and ticked the box. Oh, we've done haptics, we've done that. So what I'm now focused on is, I wrote 3 curriculums. I've done an AI curriculum, which is about how AI is just changing the game through game design, film design, everything. That's going to be started soon. But also how when people are doing game design, they don't realise that, you know, to get a job in a AAA studio, it's good luck with that, unless you want to join the bank with 200 people. And it's not as glamorous. What they make out is, look at, if you're going to do this as a particular career or study, look at the serious gaming that is happening now, where I'm working with Neon, which is the futuristic city that's being built out in Saudi at the moment, and they are serious about what the metaverse and the digital twin, true replicant of what you live, how you know, all of that data aligned with technology. So I'm trying to be, you know, without preaching to people about what they should be studying. People are being forced into, oh, you can play games, you can be in sports, you can be doing this or whatever. I think you've really got to start looking at adding commercial, where is that career path beyond the education? And we all know with AI, everything's changing. So I'm working with Hossam on just really bringing together what is the future. Neon said to me, I need ideas on what is the future of, if we could just put on a, you know, Vision Pro or whatever, or Magic Leap 4, we could transport ourselves into a totally different immersive experience. What could that look like? And how could we then bring all of those technologies together to create a feeling of total immersion? And what we came up with was kind of a labour of love. When I first saw the journey and everything that was coming up, I just went into a rabbit hole. And so far, I'm taking on 350,000 pictures. My wife thinks I'm having an affair with Big Journey. But it's just, I just couldn't believe the way that AI was able, and before all this, by the way, it's a DJ. I'm the tour DJ for the Prodigy for 20 years. And as a result of being creative, I could never do video, but I'd love to have the tools available to do video. What is going to happen in the next 12 months is, in what we've mapped out, we've put together a bit in WhatsApp that's done for European funding, is if we bring all of these technologies together for not only the experience itself, it can be, okay, it's something that's absolutely amazing experience. What is the accessibility? If you've got an accident, you're an artist, you've got eye tracking capabilities now in headsets, why not use that? If you could paint with your eyes, if you could create with speech, you could create with gesture, why not build it? Then build it now. So this is what we've come up with, right? Since EPR.
Just left and right.
Okay, so it's a space for creators. So if you can imagine being able to appreciate art through a completely new immersive lens, what would that look like? Now, what we kind of thought of is the headsets now are they're more affordable. I think last year was a record year for Meta Quest 3 and previous year for Sony VR. It's no longer, you know, VR will be, you know, the next 2 years be cheaper, more accessible, but it's all about content. It's all about for people to go into VR. I work in VR, worked in it for 4 years, I barely got a headset. I won't want it all longer than 12 minutes. So we built something that's based on a 12-minute artistic experience called Synthesia. So it's based on how you would basically create the gallery of the future. What's that? Right. So if you put a headset on, this is how I envisage it. You put a headset on, and then all of a sudden, through VR, you can pick a companion who's going to guide you through your art experience. So that companion then talks to you and asks you what kind of art you like, what kind of inspiration, is there any specific genre, movement, or because what we can do is we can create something personal which is unique to you. And this is also we can make conversational AI, but also AI to the point where it can generate the most amazing things. So what I've looked at is everything that I've been asked to work for Neon. How do we create a truly human-centric design experience? This is unique for the individual. So what we've done is we've built this out to be, first of all, you should rate this based on what you want to see, which is purely about the conversation that you have with your companion. Then alongside that, working with one of the Hans Zimmer's main composers, we've built around about 100,000, probably going to need a lot more data for this. But based on if you said X, Y, and Z, it will be that match with not only the art that you'd like to experience, it also has the music. So all of that then is, we're trying to personalize it based on your emotion. Now, also, based on what we can do with understanding how, there's a recent study, and it's a study of how to create awe. You know, like, I mean, there's all of this building, it's amazing. It's how to create awe in virtual environments where it's real and people actually believe it. The only way I think we can do that now is before we all, you know, as if anyone's ever going to trust Elon Musk's got a chip in your head, is Neuralinks. It's about combining all the other technologies. And if you can combine the other technologies, be it haptics, be it state-of-the-art visuals, you can then bring them together, you know, the cognitive side of that and have that experience to lay out. So you've got your curation, you curate it because you've asked for the art to be generated. I'm going to do this, it's a lot easier. And then create. So just using your voice, your movement, through the power of conversational AI, if you can go into a room or a virtual environment, and I don't know if anyone's ever been in a Magic Leap, but they had a brilliant demo in a Magic Leap. You could literally go around, and it's all spatial computing. You could spawn a keyboard here, drum set there, and you could literally fill this entire room with all these crazy instruments. We can do this now because seriously, in the space of 2 weeks, there's 100 new apps that were dropped on all of on Hugging Face, which were all about how to create music. And not just use AI for plagiarism. If you want to be boring with AI, you want it to cheat, fine. AI now is just open up to become the ultimate creative tool, where you only need an idea. And that idea now you have the support around you to really allow you to really go in and create amazing prototypes, fast track, whatever you're thinking, but more importantly, all of this, what we're building is, at the very end of this, all of the art that is generated is yours to keep, and you take that home in a digital wallet, and then you can go around and you can spawn it. If you've ever spawned AR, you can have all of the artwork all around you, that's yours. And it's purely because I want to take the demonization out of AI and show if it's used in the right way. Yeah, we know it's been used to, the libraries have been trawled on the internet. You just think when ChatGPT first launched to now how 100 million users per day, it just made ChatGPT 7 really scary. Just think about how we can train the AI on what's already been generatively designed. One of my partners who used to have a little robot dog called Spot, Boston Dynamics, he has just set up a load of the most incredible AI server models, and he's given us access to
the compute that Midjourney would have. And they're spending a lot of money on that, but it's all eco, it's all in the desert, it's all solar panels. So we've got some really amazing partners that are behind this. And then, so yeah, what we want to do is through sensor fusion, by being able to bring a headset, a haptic glove, a haptic wearable, why can't you feel the art? And Synthesia is where you can see a sound and feel a colour. So we've done a play on that by combining some of the technology that is already here, but then what else could it be? So ideally, you could just put a headset on, have a conversational AI piece, and you have the art beautifully displayed around you, or you could wear a full suit, go in and be part of an immersive art piece itself. So there's been a big rise in like the Van Gogh immersive experiences, but they're just part of projectors. They're not really that, they look great, they're a bit boring as to the visual scene. So what we're trying to do, this is all about trying to create an experience that is the gallery of the future. And what I think what's really weird, that's a spitting image of my son. And I just did, I've got a baby in metaverse, so I'm showing it to my wife, because metaverse. It's weird. Anyway, like, I'm on top. So the gallery of the future. So we see that it's really about when you've spoken to your companion, you've got your 15-minute art curated, it's how it's going to be displayed. So beautiful frames, but also through that curation, why can't I choose where I want to see it? Why can't I choose that I'd like to see it? I'd like to see it in Blade Runner. I want to see it on underwater. You've got the ability to change the environment you want to see it in. So again, you've got personal opportunity there to curate. So alongside that, as I mentioned, we've got Glenn, who's been working on many of the Hans Zimmer soundtracks. He's actually built a number of the AI engines that will allow us to then add a soundtrack throughout your experience that will again be unique, but it's then given to you. So you're the only person to ever have that experience. So we're trying to really think about bringing all of these technologies together in a way that it makes sense as an experience. And I don't know what you may or may not know about haptics, but there's a company called Ultraleap. They use ultrasound, and it's we got ultrasound here.
We have this with here, but it's in our extras.
It's in the aircraft, yeah. It's in the big new one, big wall one. Right, the one it's in R&D, but basically, if you could have something where you can feel just mid-air, what this is based on what you've got. That is, okay, there's one part of the experience will be a sculpture. So why not feel it? Why not be able to touch it? Why not be able to manipulate it? This can be done, that's in. So what I'm trying to do is cover all of the senses. So tactile, that's covered. This lady here is a genius. She's like a wizard. She makes perfumes that are literally with like some John Sutherland, with Anthony Gormley, and it's ditch. One's called ditch, and it smells like it's fallen in a ditch. But what she does is she's got such a way of really going into the molecules of the fragrances that she's going to work with us to create a signature scent that will go alongside that with the various different devices that can play different scents. So we've got scent covered. And then again, this is something now that I've seen so many white papers about how to create that realism in the experience. And you've got to believe it. Or it can be, you've literally gone into an experience and gone, you've got to be in that. That was just amazing. Well, or, tell you what, put a headset on, do you want to relive it? It's on a digital wallet. So we're trying to bring all of this together in a way that makes sense, but also, yeah, the art of the possible. But so when we talk about the curation, like, pick a gallery. You want something traditional, you want something futuristic, you want something that just, just hit the question mark. It'll generate an environment for you. And this is the beauty of using VR now. even the Meta Quest 3, which is what, less than 400 quid, allows you to really go in there and see, you've got a special computing device. That is just amazing to get that level of technology now at that price. So, first of all, you can pick your gallery. So, as I said, you can go from, traditional, or you go as wild as you want, or you let it, by the way, there was all video on there, but and then you pick your companion, so you've got choice to pick whoever you want, or again, if you want a 17-foot bunny rabbit with green eyes, you can have whatever you want as your companion. That companion will be throughout the experience there. So you can, at any moment, you can just ask it to change, interact, or manipulate, or help you, because what we want it to do is allow you to not only experience the art, but one of the art pieces, you walk into it and you become part of the art. So again, this is based on, and we can share this with you, because I'm conscious of the time, but as I've said, 350 examples have already been built, but as soon as, how long's that program? 3 years? We'll probably have a library of about 3 trillion by then, by the time my AI man gets his work together. So again, it's all about creating the data, but so with the conversational AI, they're really going to dig into capturing what are the things you really want to see. And obviously it's a big research project. We've got some of the smartest minds that can help us try and refine it. So it's not just I pick A, B, C. It's got to be true conversational AI guided. It's not been yet defined, and it is being defined now. And I think from what I see from the projects that I'm involved in, they are the future of how this technology can be used, how it can be understood, but also what else can it lead to. Now, some of the things that we've done is, there's a study, and I'll share the white papers with Houston, we can share them with you, of we were able to do with Karolinska University. That woman filled with delight to walk again from having a spinal cord injury by wearing the Tesla suit, and that is amazing. So I'll just go through what a bit more about this, but once you've got it in, I've got lots of white papers. If you've got any ideas, if you really want to have a deeper dive on the academic program that we set up is purely about how we share all the great work and the minds from every university that is using this technology. So, be really careful. Sorry, I'm clumsy. So,
I mean, don't worry, just you can.
I'm not going to. I'll just. So, this is the Tesla suit. Now, the Tesla suit, as I said, these are the mocap elements, and that is the Tesla glove that is currently just awaiting the final touches, and then we'll release it, which is it's a glove that has EMS intent in the fingertips. You get a 9x9 display, so you can feel the difference between whether or not it's a rigid or soft, an edge of an object. In there, there's full feedback, so if you're picking up a virtual drill or anything that's prime swinging, you actually feel it, interact with it, it's got no tap and everything else. So that's our next product that we've spent 5 years working on, which is coming out, I think, probably sometime next year. So, as I said, the Tesla suit itself, I call it a lab in a suit because it's got everything you possibly need to study human performance. But what we've done with it is we've tried to make it compatible with all major game engines, so Unity, Unreal, some of the more specialists like Bohemia, if you're doing flight stuff. And it comes with an open API and SDK. So the haptics, it covers, if there's 80 channels of haptics that can be, each one can be individually programmed. And what we see this within the immersive kind of environment is, it adds that level of realism. So in VR at the moment, if you're wandering around, you see a chair, you don't feel it. With the suit, full suit, you don't feel it, you interact with it. So it's all about how we can bring that and not only help foster 360-degree awareness, but helping, because they are quite pricey, the main target has been like enterprise training, so oil rigs, so clients like Schlumberger, NASA, is understanding how, with the current technology, at the moment, this is why we're still market leaders. No one's been able to go and create a true haptic, but it is something, hopefully, if you get the funding, that'll be a project that me and Hussein will lead, is what is that true haptic? What is that true wearable? And that true wearable is a skin, just a skin that you can wear, as a daily wear. Now, on top of that, we have motion capture, both skeletal and kinematic. We use IMU sensors as an AI reduction, allows you to create a character, so you can then take it, export it as an FBX file, and then it becomes a character for a game. And then biometry. So the ability now to not only put someone in an immersive experience, but dial up the stress, measure that stress. If they're not stressed enough, they're not, dial up the threat. This is how they train the kind of police officers, and even when I've got my son now is 2. I used to say that burn, you're going to burn yourself, but you only learn from when you get a penalty in that kind of respect, when the client's using this moving nuclear power rods to, pretty much really dangerous scenarios, like on an oil drill, where if that goes over, the entire platform's going. So if they mess up, they need a penalty. If they get a penalty, be it a shot blown over onto the floor with that power of the haptics, that's where we are. That's why some of our clients, like NASA, have been using it since 6 years. They use it to replicate what it's like floating around without any gravity. As I mentioned, Schlumberger, and this is quite interesting. Sorry, I'm going to really find reflection for the last minute. Right, hold on.
You were saying you don't have the immersive.
I told, yeah. Now, most of them took me around all the wonderful buildings, and I loved it. It's like I talked to all the companies there, but I've not actually gone and seen it. So I sat in the car in a Volvo truck. This was a project we did with Volvo, which was their biggest ever push of how they're really bringing together technologies. So they've got the tester suit, they've got ART tracking, which is the best. And what they did, they put a driver in a car, the video link I can share with you as well as this. And it was literally in traditional Swedish style, the car's going 80, 90 miles, a moose walks across and it stops, and then captured the effect it had on the body, the biosigns with the tester suit. And Volvo, to this day, I still believe the safest car history, safety history, and they released their data open source recently. So working with the likes of these companies have really given us more of an understanding of, all right, where else do we need to go as a company? But also, for 4 years, I've consulted with Microsoft, with all of the big companies on how technology should not just be technology without a solution. If it's not part of the solution, it's just going to end up in that corner with dust on. And this is what happens. People just jump on the next big thing, but if it's not for people actually coming up with those ideas that drive it, like where we've had the spinal cord injury, a use case or the rehabilitation. That rehabilitation project now has gone to a point where it started off in a very small university. It's now gone to HSS, who are the #1 orthopedic hospital and surgery in the US, 60,000 surgeries, to be part of the telemedicine post-operative rehabilitation program. So everyone's looking at virtual care. They're trying to get, as we all know, our NHS is not exactly in the best of health itself. Everything is moving into this virtual digital world that we're going to have to embrace, but we're also going to have to know how to bring it all together and work collaboratively together. So, and then on top of that, government services, it's being used by the SAS on, just group training. If they've got complacency with AI, the gameplay, you can dial it up. This is one of our partners that have been using it with the UK police, where they're wearing obviously the VR, the suit on an anti-latency tracking system, but it really allows them then to study the motion and all of the post-event analysis in more detail. And yeah, academic program. I'll go through this quickly. So here's just some of them. I don't want to put all of them on because it looks very busy, but this was a program that I just wanted to find out what, given the suit into the hands of far smart people than we are, what did they come up with? And if you go to our website, I think there's 5 on there that could be really interesting. But depending on, if you're looking at how haptics have the difference between the metaverse, and I've said this to everyone in the metaverse, it's all well and good being, visually, you're hearing things. It will always be flat on a tablet or a screen. But if you get to a point where you can, and I'm in a conversation with Disney and the board about this, is how do we take that into a wearable where you're immersed into a movie or you're part of the movie as a part of that experience? Things that are unforgettable, which are all being talked about, ideated. I had a meeting with the Disney Accelerator team, was there for 3 days to say, this is the future of how we could bring all of this technology so you have that experience. It is like, wow. So there's so much out with this technology. And yeah, these are the gloves. So yeah, as I said, you've got haptic displays, you've got biometry, you've got the force feedback, and what these are like, the wireless. So if you think about it, the top immersion would be, you want to feel, if you're in a virtual environment, you want to feel, you want to touch, you want to interact, you want to feel it. With the suit, you can feel like weather, you can feel the difference between, something touching, brushing against you. With the gloves, that is what's next. Being able to bring all of that together, and the lab that Hope took me in there was full of voice for me anyway, with systems that I know all my clients use, but the reason why these are so important now, because it is all of this technology now is, I've been selling this for 4 years, and, trying to say something hard to believe, but you can. So yeah, that's my less than rambly talk. I'm certainly open for any questions, and more than happy to share anything that I've shared with you today. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Paul. That was very interesting. Sorry for the technical difficulties. This is the effort with workshops of this nature. Okay, we need to be here 1 hour. The workshop starts so that we can discover what will make sense. We are taking note of that. I don't know if you have any questions, but if you have, please feel free to direct them to Paul. Some people from art. Yes, we have something.
Yeah, I'm curious about the synesthesia yard. Where do you see that living? It sounds very ambitious. It's really interesting. And I've seen different iterations of something like that over the last 10 years. And so this is really interesting, integrating the AI. Now, what sort of future do you see this living in?
It started off as literally experience. But then, the further I got down that AI rabbit hole about how you can create a wife's an artist, and as I said, I've created so many pieces with that, and I then started thinking, well, you've got technology without that, and it's all about making this technology accessible. My wife's a teacher; she's a head of art design at Mid-Kent University. If you were able to bring all of the technologies together from the experience side, what a great platform. So that platform there has all of the different engines in there. So you can literally go in and say, right, today I'm going to make multimedia. I've got a baseline in my head. I can't play it. I can't play an instrument, but I can love it. I'd like to do it. Like, just as a fun thing you could create with it. So it started off as being purely technology and experience just to show how they see the digital twin experience of art. But then I thought, why don't we start thinking about how we can use it being a creator platform itself? So it's a place where
You go to the examples, to these codes, to the know-how, to linked into a project around education 4.0, which is massive gaps. Everyone's leaving, no one's got skills. 1,200 CEOs recently were surveyed to say that people are rocking up with not the skills that they need anymore. And so I'm not from an academic background really, but I've now just done 3 curriculums. One is future gaming, future esports, and future content creator, which is literally, why can't we give the tools to people who just have an idea? Isn't it the idea at the end of the day? And I was frustrated working, read me down, I had 40 people that had to work on an event. They were big events, so totally get that, but it got to a point, and it wasn't about perception or better, but you give somebody a brief, and by the time you got it back, it would have been quite easy if you just spend the 12 hours from 3 weeks backwards and forwards. Now, with all these AI, it cuts out that the nonsense of having to deal with all of that. You can help get your ideas formulated before, and then go, there you go, Sam, what do you think of that? And we go, yeah, it's brilliant, or it's not. It's all about, this now will be a platform, and there's a whole education piece, which is validated by Pearson, Sitting Guilds, and the teacher training is all changing, it's moving from DEFLs, it's moving into apprenticeship. So what we see this as is the digital literacy World Economic Forum, just see some of this, we're going to be in a recession, we're not training, we're not skilling, but what's happened in the apprenticeship levy, if you're a company of a certain size, 5% of your turnover goes into a pot you have to train. So, knowing all this and speaking to ATM, which is, a company of community, said, oh, we've got Immersive Lab. That's where all of the it's called out on what would be the future gaming? What would be the future? So they've got games design tools, they've got music obviously because they're part of the Metropolis Music Group. Metropolis Studio is it's got 40-year legacy. Probably you look, I'm sure one of you have got nearly all their artwork in their collection because they've done everyone from down to Blur, you name it. It's an amazing place. But they've got 4 campuses and they have over 1,500 students. So, and I said, but they've got the acquisition now, where they're trying to find the future students. Academic universities, colleges, now because they don't get funds, they don't get OFS and so on. So I said, rather than, my daughter's great at playing games, I don't want to push her to sports because they didn't have a clue. If I could say to her, look, I'm going now, AI, find out what you want to do, be a creator. I would love to be a fashion designer, but I've got ideas, but I can't draw, so I'm not going to be a fashion designer. So that's where we kind of, it moved from being literally in halls between consortiums, consortium 10 companies, into this is a bit more than just being an experience that you could walk into a museum. And bear in mind, in a museum, what they could also do is this big that we put forward is to help the creative industries with digital literacy, because they're not up to date with using AI, they're not really helping understand where to attract that next audience. So we put it all together where if you could wear a headset and you would art design, transport back into Andy Warhol, go back to the factory, go see Andy Warhol, then talk you through a Brillo, how they made the Brillo piece, then at the end of it, go in and see it, text you, have a conversation with him, come back out, and you've got an AR model as a keepsake from the gallery. So you've done a lot of things there, not only have you made that gallery look a bit cooler, you've given them something that they can sell, and it's all about understanding now, technology is great, the ideas of that, we've got a, right story around it.
Yes, I have a question. You mentioned you had a video you could share.
Yeah, but I can't get it from my mind. Don't worry. You can come to us and I'll show you.
Okay, yeah, great. And so a different question about it, not the video. We also mentioned quite a device for haptics with ultrasound.
Yes,
How precise is that? Because you mentioned sculptures and feeling it with air. How precise? Like,
it's,
could you tell apart?
it's a big thing that happens. You need to go to the haptic clubs. I literally stroked a hand. Yeah, I literally opened the concertina.
Right. I'm wondering, like, how small would be the object you could discern or something like
So from the nature thing, like help decide. I think it's 1 millimeter PVC pack. So it can give that calculation.
So they're doing a wall. I mean, literally makes ultrasound wall.
Okay.
Because that's to get the amusement market, obviously, it's going to be going different technologies. It's not a way, it's not a physically calibrate. So they've been looking at how they can. I went to movie lot in LA and went on this Harry Potter VR. The play area was literally only about this big. And it was the way that it was designed, the way that all of the different air, the sound, there was all the sound bits in it. And only literally walking around the square. It's like, well, all around that, and it's the most amazing experience. And I'm just like, now it's all there for the taking. And you can build it.
Yeah. Just to add up, so there is a process called calibration that we go through.
Yeah.
And this is detection, data line, as we said, efficiency, right?
Yeah.
So they connect to each other. The accuracy is really good. The texture part of it is not that really good. They are trying to play around the roughness, so they now release more electricity as the surface gets rough and so on.
Yeah, that's what I was.
So another thing we are using is the air technology using haptics. So the air is generated by a compressor, moved into the backpack, and from backpack goes into your fingertip using focus. So this focus shrinks and releases as you interact with the object. And that's really interesting. The accuracy part of it is very precise to understand that you can differentiate between so I think it's a different company. So not to say it's a competitor, but
There's a shortage, all these tech companies, there's a huge shortage of people that know how to build simulator experiences, games around this technology where it's, I think over the next 4 years or so, the amount of spending to game engine training, medical training, you name it, is all focused on that. So whilst it might sound a little bit too futuristic or whatever, it's now being used. And I know for what we're looking at, is the way that now we're not used any of the devices to experiment or create art. If I can create something where you can paint with your eye, or you literally gesture and make music, surely that's really incredible use case.
can you take some minutes, if that is okay, because we are running out of time. But if not, I think Paul's email will be available where you can get in touch with him if you have something you want to work on and you have some ideas you want to connect to industries on that idea. I think,
More than happy to jump on board and follow it up.
yeah, that would be great.
I'll just say one final thing. Thanks for attending this Immersive talk. So this is the first of a series of seminars around immersive methodologies. So we'll also have some talks spanning sort of art, humanities, healthcare, engineering. So keep a lookout for the emails for the next set of talks. Mix of virtual sessions.
I think the next one is virtual.
Next one is
Yes.
virtual, taken from
Professor is does research in XR and healthcare. Professor of computer science, and do a virtual talk. He was the head of the laboratory. PhD external collaborators. He'll be online.
Yeah, and we'll release all the recordings, so we'll get the video from you as well and share that with everybody. In order for us to do that, please also animate not sign up to the event. If you didn't go on to the event, right, that won't good. Use your name, we'll just make sure, like, at the end, we'll make sure that we get those new, definitely new on this year. So, thanks to small for attending. Thank you for your presentation. So yeah.
Nice to meet you.